There are a legion of black people who not only enjoy exploring their options by dating outside their race, but they also make it their business to make other black people who love black people feel stupid about not exploring our so-called options. These interracial activists, we'll call them that for now, talk about how limited black men are, how messed up black women are, and how there are not enough good black men, and how black women are not sophisticated, how black men are dating white women, so black women must catch up, and a whole bunch of other scare tactics and bullshit. Let me tell you about the options and diversity that these interracial activists push. White people. That's it. That's all. So you see, there's not an option at all. The information that they put out is that whiteness, historically and currently the orchestrator of death and destruction the world over, is going to treat black women like queens and black men like kings. They're going to worship the ground that we walk on and open up a world of opportunities that we will not have access to if we continue to be stubborn and date only black folks. We are engaged in a war of ideas that has been waging since the current period began, where race justifies who gets what in this world. The haves are people who historically are of a paler skin, and they got that way through waging a campaign of violence and oppression that continues until this day. And the darker you are, the more likely you are to be in the have-nots. So this war has waged pretty wickedly in the minds of every human being. It has inflamed the thought that somehow who we came from is not who is good for us. That our salvation has to come from the same people who cause and benefits from our oppression. And that somehow when we have sex with our white option, that we are erasing the racial divide and freeing the world from oppression. What usually happens is that the darker person ends up adopting a worldview that has nothing to do with the dark person's reality, but one that is invested in the survival and interest of the paler person. Generally speaking, I have no opposition to dating, marrying, and having babies with someone who is of a different non-white race. And here's why. There are groups that have experienced similar levels of oppression as black folks. The white world has reaped the benefits of enslavement and colonization not only in Africa and the colored peoples of the Americas, but in Asia, especially Southeast Asia, the South Pacific, and the Middle East. For me, this shared experience is just as much as a unifying factor as race. It is a relationship that builds upon the commonality of the oppressed and can lead to change not through sexual intercourse, but through a similar understanding that can move forward the revolution of the oppressed. But you know what, I might be overreaching. But you see, you should ask why. That in a world that has more than 7 billion people living on it, of which over 3 billion people represent the combined populations of China, Africa, and India, who, by the way, are cornering the market on population regeneration, that the survival of white people and their ideas depend upon their infiltration of communities of color, whether that be politically, sexually, or socially. It's no wonder why you see more and more of these black-white relationships being promoted in our media. It's advertising for survival. I'm not here to give you the same metaphysical explanation that litters the speech of these black culture nationalists, shit about souls and spirits and the third eye and shit. My message is one of optimism and hope, and it's grounded in the reality that there are more than 1 billion black people in this world. Black relationships happening and black babies being born. That your world is larger than your city. That the options in blackness are far greater than the options in whiteness. That in my lifetime, I've had the pleasure of dating Africans from the US, the Caribbean, South and Central America, Europe, and Africa. And a few things are for sure. There is no shortage of us. That we have to topple our shared oppression. That there is good just like there is bad. That if you choose to, you can find a mate in this big black world, and it won't be hard. Instead of spending $500 on a European luxury item, spend it on a plane ticket and visit your people. Hang out and build this global African community. Black women, if you want to find a man, take your vacations in Sierra Leone, Senegal, Mali, The amount of fine men who will probably propose marriage to you will spin your head. Special shout out to Nigeria, Sudan, Zim, Brazil, Colombia, Jamaica, Honduras, Belize, and New York. All funny business aside though, I'm just tired of us collaborating against ourselves. Stop being so thirsty for whiteness and see how building up you benefits you.